Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. Alright, now, for you guys out there who sent me the email in regards to the prepper group I'm trying to put together, I sent out an email with the mission statement on there. That mission statement basically is along the lines of get yourself ready, put together a group of people who are like-minded, and build a plan to get the fuck away from the cities if and when we start flipping over to a Venezuela model of utter chaos and confusion and starvation, destruction. Now, I know a lot of people are like, Popp, you know, this is America, this can't happen here, and we're immune. I hope you're correct. I really do. I really just want, you know, maybe this whole thing to blow over and we go back to business as usual. But my gut is telling me that's probably not going to happen. Okay, now, the goal of this whole thing I'm trying to put together is to save people's lives. Because if shit goes fucking crazy and you do not have a plan and you are caught with your thumb up your ass and you don't take action, you will be a victim, and victims wind up dead.
The war on the West is no longer about men or women. It's about the ideological subversion of Western minds by foreign actors cloaked in a public relations-friendly outfit called feminism. Join the fight against the destabilization of our very civilization by reading Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism. Learn some inconvenient truths by clicking on the link in the description, because every time you do, a pansexual non-binary socialist cries.
When you decide to put together your organization of individuals who are like-minded like you, there are certain skill sets that you need to look for. Now, back in my army days when I was young and prideful, I had a lot of disdain for individuals who could not do what I did or be like me. Okay, it wasn't until a few years had passed and life served up a couple of serious ass whippings on me before I realized that everyone has a purpose, everyone has a need for the most part, and to discount that, you're only taking away from yourself, okay, and your abilities. Now, I talk about this in my book, The Warrior's Way and the Soldier's Soul, in more detail, so if you want to read up on that, go ahead. Now, when you put together, you know, your skill set of people, keep this in the back of your mind. Number one on the list is ex-military individuals, preferably grunts. You know, 11 bang bangs, scouts, armor, recon elements. Those guys are flipping excellent when it comes to this kind of shit. All right, because they've walked around with a rucksack. They've basically prayed at the altar of the suck. They're totally cool with it. Now, you can also, like Marines, listen, 0311 Marines, same thing. You know, once you go up the pecking order on the different job sets within the Marines and the Army and Navy and Air Force, it gets a little dicey. But those individuals are used to following orders, operating in a group, and a lot of them have leadership qualities about them, because if they had any good NCOs, you'll learn that shit subconsciously. I'm just saying. Next, anyone with mechanical skills, work on trucks and cars and bikes and motors of any type. Because to be honest with you, there will be a lot of equipment laying around that may or may not be perfectly good. It just needs one or two parts or to be tweaked to make it start and run. That can save your life in a pinch. If you're facing, dire climate issues like severe cold and heat and so forth, or if you need to get away from a pack of hungry zombies who want your shit and don't care how they get it. Okay, anyone with electrician skills or electrical skills, that comes in handy, down the road. And you can also use that to help unfuck shit that takes place in the mechanical aspect. Because in today's day and age, a machine can be mechanically great and there's some kind of snafu in the electronics that needs to be worked out. A dab of solder here, a twisted wire there, and you're back on the road, you're back doing your deal. Medical. This is very important. Nurses, doctors, physician assistants, they know how to deal, with basic first aid, intermediate first aid. If you have a surgeon, they do the advanced, first aid, stuff like that. Those guys are invaluable. All right. And if you can, do what you can do to get, somebody with medical experience into your particular group. Drivers who can drive a stick shift, drive trucks, Jeeps, bikes, cars, what have you. Listen, a lot of people think they're great drivers because they drive every day to and from what have you. And, for the most part, they would be correct. But if you have to drive a vehicle with weight on it over a, unprepared surface or through mud, water, or any other type of obstacles, that is when the skill of an actual driver comes in. Because I'm going to be honest, some people are going to get offended. Anyone can drive on concrete and asphalt. Okay, there's a skill needed to drive off-road and so forth, which you might need to do. I have done this myself when I was a 2.5 driver and a 5-ton driver in the infantry. Yeah, that's right. I got hoodwinked to do that detail. It sucked, but you learn valuable experience that sticks with you for the rest of your life. Okay, if you can find somebody who owns property, 10, 20, 50 acres somewhere that is a decent, comfortable distance away from a major population center, preferably, 2 hours or more away, because, when the supply chain, if the supply chain breaks down, when people go off from the big cities, foraging for supplies and food, chances are 2 hours is going to be a little bit out of their range. I'm just saying, when I would think it out, that's pretty much how it would go. Like 120 miles in the beginning. As the fuel dies down, that'll actually shrink to like 40 miles. That's, an average person in okay shape can walk 20 miles a day. Chances are they're not going to walk more than 2 days away from, the major cities. So, these are just estimates. Don't hold me to it, but, that's what you got. Now, I put another one here, pilot. You're probably not going to need that, because there's not a lot of planes, helicopters, and so forth. But that individual, you never know when you find yourself in a situation, you might need somebody who knows how to fly a plane or helicopter. I'm just going to put that out there. Now, this one's important, and I put a box around it. People who know how to operate radios, somebody with a ham radio license, because this person can actually help everyone else in your particular group get their ham radio license so they can communicate. And you guys, if they shut down the cell grid, as long as you have power, because you have somebody who knows how to hook up electric batteries, wiring, and hook up solar cells, you can still have operational radio comms. And you can communicate with everyone in your particular group and with neighboring adjacent groups. And I'll go into this later. All right, farmer. If the supply chain breaks down, everything goes crazy. You got a guy who knows how to plant food, how to fertilize, take care of animals. And this guy teams up with the landowner. Pretty soon you have a way to feed your particular group of people, and you can basically dig in for the long haul. Okay, a survivalist, basically they know how to live off the land, put up temporary hooch, start fires. These guys are great. They may or may not be ex-military. You know, I've talked to a lot of individuals who are survivalists who never served in the military, so it is what it is. If you come across them, great. Okay, gunsmiths. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you guys. If it gets bad, you guys are going to have to protect yourself, hunt for food and so forth. The best way to do that is with firearms. They tend to break down. You might need somebody who knows how to fix them and reload ammo and so forth, because, you know, that's the way shit works. Supply chain breaks down, ammunition is pretty much a and you might have to figure out a way to produce your own. Okay, welder. Listen, a lot of people overlook this. Okay, a welder can do all kinds of cool shit, like build wood-burning stoves, fix broken frames on vehicles so the mechanic can come in and fix it, and the electrician can come in and fix the electrical, and you have a working vehicle. There is a lot of benefits to a welder, and there's a lot of benefits to a welder who comes with his own equipment. Those guys make a lot of money because they're worth it. All right, and a builder. Listen, down the road you might have to put together, you know, a building. You know, build shelter. You know, as things progress, you're going to move on different stages. One, build up hasty shelter, put up your security, start working on your food and water. As time progresses, the shelter will become more permanent, and everything else becomes more permanent and more efficient. All right, so these are some of the skill sets I've covered. Now we're going to talk about, you know, the different groups. Now, this is a decentralized model, which is probably the best, due to the fact that I'm going to cover the other one on the other board. It is very rigid, easily shut down, and I will go in more detail. So say this is you. You start your 15-man group in your particular area. You get some of these skill sets, but not all of them. And you start working on getting them radio qualified. Now, each one of these people in the group can go out to their particular areas and start up another group, 10 to 15, 20 people. You want to keep it kind of small because it's easier that way, and so forth. And you'd be surprised how fast this whole thing can grow. All right, you can literally, in 6 months, easily get 50,000 people all organized into 10 to 20-man groups, all programmed to get the fuck out of Dodge when shit goes fucking crazy. Now, each one of these individuals in your particular group, you meet with them and only them. Okay? When they go off to their group, they meet with their people and only their people. So you're only really exposed to 10 or 15 people. And once this gets going, you can see how it is here. All right. You can literally have half the state, you know, on the same page, able to talk on the radio, ready to get away from the fucking, you know, craziness and survive in no time flat. All right. And the reason I'm going with the decentralized network is simply this. Okay. You do this, what happens? Nothing. All right, it still works. You cut this person out. So what? All right, you still have all these people. All right, it's almost next to impossible to completely shut down a decentralized network of individuals working for the same goal. Okay, it is monumentally difficult. All right, there are some military examples that from the past. I am not going to go into those because this is not for a military or paramilitary purpose. This is merely to organize to survive when and if the fabric of our society breaks the fuck down. As a betting man, I would say and this could happen probably in the next, there's a 30% chance of this happening in the next 5 to 10 years. If they blow up our currency, it'll happen a lot quicker. All right, now over here, your top-heavy organization. Now, this is not actually to scale. This is just off the cuff what I was, taught back in the day. Now, these individuals here are managers. You have the leader at the top. Now, when you're managing people, if you are a mediocre average manager, you can manage 7 people effectively. All right. Some people can go up to 15, but any more than that, it's a hit or miss. All right. So I'm going off 7 here. Now, so like say, for instance, you have the leader, you get your 7 people underneath you. Each of them, get their 7, managers and so forth. Okay, this is a management style. It's very rigid. You take this guy out, the whole thing collapses. We don't want that at all. All right, so I am not a leader here. I am simply a facilitator of information to assist you in building this, not this. Now, on a side note, you'll see here I have numbers. The bizarre numbers always pop up in nature, like 7, 13, 6, 5, 9, and 3. Okay, for whatever reason, 7 comes up here, and that number comes up a lot in the golden ratio and so forth. So that's just a side note. And another thing about the management style, management people train. And you know what you train? Dogs and fucking monkeys. I'm not here to train anybody. I'm here to forge men. Men who know how to think on their feet, take charge, and help those people around you when shit goes fucking south. Okay? Leaders forge men to take their place and carry on if the person in charge falls. Okay, as an NCO in the United States Army, I took pride in training or forging all of my NCOs to do my job, the job above me, and the job below them. So if I ever got zeroed out, boom, they could replace me. Because everyone here on this ball of mud slinging through space is fully replaceable. And to think you're not is folly. And I talk about that in my book, The Warrior's Way and the Soldier's Soul. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what I'm going for. I'm going to be putting together some other classes, on building a hooch, how to find water and navigate with the compass and so forth once I secure a training site where I can put that in place. All right, and I will be covering more of this down the road, so please stay tuned, and you guys take it easy. Out.